Hi beauties! Today in our vlog we're going to talk about soothing digestive distress in your body. And this is a really important topic because digestion is the core that's focused on the uptake of key nutrients in your system and the release, the ongoing detoxification, the ongoing cleansing of wastes and toxins. So this two-part aspect of digestion is absolutely critical to our health, to our beauty, to our energy, to our optimal organ functioning, to our clarity of mind, to our ability to create the life that we want. It is a root system here in our physical bodies, which affect all parts of ourselves, including the lightness that we can feel in meditation, our emotional health, our emotional well-being, our spiritual growth. Everything is so interconnected. And there is a reason that all the great yogis talked about diet, they talked about digestion, because they understood this so incredibly well that it's very difficult to progress in other areas of your life if your body is weighed down, if your body is heavy. So it's an important discussion that we talk about how to really optimize your digestion and to soothe any digestive distress, which I find is quite common. A lot of us don't want to talk about having bloating issues or constipation or IBS or just diarrhea or all the different ways that our digestion can get thrown off. But if you are going through any sort of digestive distress, it's very important that we pay attention to it, that we look at it, that we examine it, and then we work to alleviate it because it's so central to your health. So the first part of this is, well, there's many aspects. Today I thought we'd focus on a couple of them. First, one of the easiest ways to start eliminating digestive distress is to make sure that you are working on a deep level to actually boost your digestive health. And what I mean by that is down in the microflora, making sure that you are taking your SBO probiotics. You probably have heard me say this before, but I say it again because I love you and it's so important. I have a bottle on my desk as always. So I remembered to take mine. I have one in my desk, one in my bathroom, one in my kitchen, one next to my bedside table. And it's just really important that you are nourishing your microflora every day because it can get off whack from everything from stress to sugar to not eating perfectly, which none of us do, by the way. So it's just really important that you are taking your SBO probiotics day in and day out. Number two, it's very important that you look at certain foods that may be disruptive to your system, specifically gluten and dairy. So I've gotten pretty comfortable in my diet. I'll share with you guys the last few years. I felt really good. And then the other night we went out to dinner at this Mediterranean restaurant and they didn't have that many plant-based options. And I was pretty hungry. So I ended up eating 3 huge pieces of this lavash bread, which is vegan, is plant-based, but it was super high in gluten. And this was last week, and if you guys can see, I'm still breaking out from it. My body does not do well with gluten. It does not digest well. I get super bloated. I break out. It messes up my whole system. So it may be gluten for you, it may be other foods. All our bodies are different. I think it's important that we recognize the individuality of our constitution and our genetic makeup. So what works for you may not work for everyone else, but it's important that we tune into our bodies and we start to notice. And maybe you've never gone 2 weeks without dairy, but I would urge you, because dairy in particular is can be a very potentially disruptive food to your digestion. Just give it a go. This is the best time of year, one of the best times of year, spring going into summer, where you can just try experimenting 2 weeks. Switch to almond milk in your coffee or tea. Get plant-based cheeses. By the way, the Miyoko's brand is amazing. She has this smoked farmhouse cheddar that I am obsessed with. I cut it up and roll it in kale leaves and eat that as a snack. It's so rich and delicious. And you can use nutritional yeast as a cheesy substitute. There's lots of amazing ways to get past dairy. So I would urge you to try cutting out difficult to digest foods and see how that affects your digestion. And now is the time to do it. You also want to make sure that you're eating lots of fiber to create regularity in your system. There's a lot of ways to eat, obviously, and sometimes we can end up foregoing the fiber that's so critical to gut health. But for instance, having lots of drinks, even healthy ones like green juice and kombucha. But if we have all these fiberless choices or energy drinks, lower end of the spectrum, or lots of coffee, then we are not constantly nourishing the flow. So get back in the habit of your glowing green smoothie if you fell off track. This is a great season for berries, which happen to be low in sugar, great source of fiber. I've been eating blackberries a lot myself, and raspberries, which are particularly wonderful for women's health. Blueberries, one of my favorites. So check out berries, check out all the amazing plant foods that you see at your farmer's market, and eat them whole so you're getting all that amazing fiber. Now, another aspect of gut health and soothing our digestive distress that I think is really important to address is physiological distress. So there's so much research in connecting our brains and our bodies, and specifically our gut health. And I talk about this a lot in my newest book, Recipes for Your Perfectly Imperfect Life, which is a very practical guide to becoming happier and more lighter and more joyful, and specific food recipes that work on healing and supporting your body and your mind and your emotions. So for instance, there is a published research out of the Journal of Physiology and Pharmacology that found that stress alters gut-brain interaction and it leads to digestive distress, which is no surprise to any of us that have gotten stressed and felt that flurry in our stomach, or get gassy, or get constipated or diarrhea. So it's important that we deal with stress on an ongoing basis. I'm a big believer in mini meditation, just closing your eyes for a minute through the day, going in the bathroom, going in the closet, and just taking a moment to calm down and become present and get centered within yourself. There's also the letting go technique and the stumbling block technique, which I discuss in Recipes for Your Perfectly Imperfect Life. If you haven't checked out the book yet, please do so, because I'm so passionate about talking about mental and emotional well-being as well as physical well-being. I've seen it for years, beauties. I've seen people that eat so well and so on point, and they're still bloated, and they still have belly fat, and they still don't feel good. So we really want to nourish our whole self. That's a core element of our Saluna philosophy. So check it out. Take your SBO probiotics. Experiment with cutting out different sorts of foods, and you will start to elevate your digestive health more and more, and therefore your overall wellness, your overall vitality and beauty and energy, and how you show up in the world. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for our connection, that you are in our community. I look forward to connecting more. Remember, you can ask me all the questions you want over on the podcast tab, which I answer every Thursday, and our Q&A podcast. You can also catch me on an Instagram Live. So there's lots of ways to connect. I'm always here for you, sending you lots of love. I will see you back here soon.